Hey guys, today I want to talk about jigs. And I want to get your, if you can, in the comment section, I want to hear about your jigs and maybe even possibly, I don't know how to do it, but maybe link some videos to how you use jigs, how you make your jigs. Jigs are super important. Jigs save fingers. I'm specifically right now just talking about jigs for routers. I'm gonna show you what these jigs do and what they make. But I want to tell you a little bit of a story. A lot of carpenters and woodworkers lose fingers because they're high-speed cutting tools. They're exposed, and it's not because they're drunk. It's because things happen, like the fence isn't parallel with the blade, and that causes a kickback, and it drives their fingers into the saws. Let me tell you what happened to me a few years back. I was cutting out a window with a up spiral flute. Okay, plywood was cut over the put over the window, and I was going around it, right, to cut the plywood, and it was following the opening. And unfortunately, what happened was the bit hit a nail. Okay, and it sent it off balance, and it was so, this isn't the router that I was using at the time, but it sent it off so much. It was a Makita, and I couldn't even, it was shaking so badly that I couldn't even raise my thumb up and hit the off button. My whole body was shaking because of that off balance bit, and it's cutting at a super fast rate. And literally, this is no exaggeration, I was thinking about throwing the whole unit. Things can go bad quick, and that's why I like templates. And the smaller the piece that you're working on, the more likely you're going to need many more templates. Let me just give you an idea of what's going on with this one. It's a simple piece, and what I'm going to do is round over the edge, right, and I'm going to mortise out the center. Okay. When I did this one, by the way, you can see that I was off just a little bit. This is just to show you, but ideally you want to tweak this thing, get your jigs perfect. The jigs are the most important part of this, and it'll save your fingers. Let me show you how you would do something as simple as this, but you're going to realize your finger, if you were just holding on to this, you are really increasing the likelihood of cutting your fingers off. Another note, let me tell you what I did here. I purchased these, this is not an endorsement or anything like that, I'm just telling you what I did. These are almost brand spanking new. I bought them out of a pawn shop. These are like $100 at Home Depot. And I bought them for around $25 a piece. Okay, so a quarter of them. And one of them didn't have the chuck in it. They're quarter inch chucks. And I was able to, I bought 2 or 3 of them off of Rigid's website. So don't be afraid to go to a pawn shop, even if it's missing some parts. But this base will be cut with one of these trim routers, they're called. Okay? Let me show you how easy, with some templates, it is to make such a piece. Take your time making templates. Okay? And I use these Harbor Freight toggles. They're like $2, $3 a piece. Buy a bunch of them. And I used as a template, the base, the cutout that I wanted for my depth gauge. So let me just show you real quick how I would do that. This is to set the template depth. So I've got a small round over bit, and it is just right there. Okay, so I just set this. Now remember, when you're going to route these two edges first, and if there's chip out, it's going to be right here on this piece and right here. But you're going to get that cleaned up when you run it down the length of it. So the first jig I'm going to use, notice it fits really tight. I don't want any movement. And I locked it in place. And that's to cut these edges first. Okay? So then I would just turn on the router and ride it down. Stop it. Flip it around. It's hot. I'm on the Gulf of Mexico. And then I hit this side. That's all this template does. Notice my hands are so far away from the bit, there's no way I'm going to cut my fingers off. And I can do multiples of this super fast, super safe. So be creative. Take your time making templates, because they are the key to keeping your fingers. Once I cut these two edges, right, I would cut the length. And the way that I would do that one is, again, another template. I don't try to have all my templates, all my cuts in one template. I just make a bunch, and then I label them, like this says base. So what I would do, again, it's tight, so it doesn't move. Again, look how safe this is. My hand's out of there, and boom, I've got that edge done. Then I'd flip it around, and boom, go down the other edge. Now I've got all of the edges done on this. How can you beat that? My fingers were nowhere near the cutting edges. And then the last one is to use the mortise out of this, and that would be on the big router. So I need a big stable base, because I'm no longer using this little router. I'm using this big one, right, with a pattern bit. And let me get that real quick. If you're not familiar with these are fantastic. Let me show you. I'm just grabbing one out of the kit. Again, I just picked this up at Harbor Freight. They work great. They go into the base, a different base than this. Screws in, and then you're going to use one of these spiral cut bits, mortising spiral cuts. And what's really happening is this brass edge is going to ride along this, just like that. Now the outer edge is cut, so you've got that. And then you're going to clean up the center by just riding back and forth with a router. Let me show you how I do that safely. Take your time. Make your jigs the way you want. I really like toggles. They hold things tight. What I did here was I put a lip right here. Keeps it from lifting up. And I put a lip right here. So this would just slide. I take my board. This is the bottom of the jig. It's to hold my blank. Pop it in like that, and that's what I would see. Okay. Then I'd slide it into that tongue right here. See how that slides right there? That I made a little lip. It'll fit under here. Just like so. And now I don't want this moving at all. So I took another stick, and can you see the hole right there? Slides in like so. And again, it's locked in. Now I can take my router and ride back and forth, get that all cleaned out, and I don't know, in 2 minutes I have a base for whatever project I'm working on, small, easily manufactured or copied. It's just an idea. You really want to keep your fingers away from especially router bits and table saw blades. I know that sounds like a joke, but it can happen in a heartbeat. And jigs save fingers. So in the comment section, tell me about your jigs, because everybody can learn from jigs. Jig making, it's part science, part art, and everybody has some great jigs that we can all learn from. So tell me about your jigs. I'll catch you on the next one.